The Amityville Horror. Rain poured steadily the day the Lutz family arrived. George, Kathy, and her 3 kids. The house stood large and quiet, its upper windows peering out toward the street like wide, blank eyes. It looked solid, stately, and full of promise. George believed they'd found a bargain. Kathy had her doubts, but kept them to herself. The door opened easily. They stepped inside, unaware that whatever lived in that house had been waiting. The story was known. A boy had taken the lives of his family there the year before. The realtor said it plainly. Contract signed, deal sealed. George brushed it aside. Tragedy wasn't contagious. It had happened. It was over. But the moment they crossed into that hallway, the air turned heavier, and the silence inside settled like fog. It began quietly. The cold came first. No matter how high the heat, there were areas in the house that stayed icy. Chelsea, the youngest, started speaking to someone invisible. She called her Jody, said she used to live there, said she still did. When Kathy asked more, Chelsea grew quiet and looked beyond her, eyes fixed on spaces that no one else noticed. George changed. He lost interest in work, ignored calls, and stopped shaving. He spent long hours in the basement, dragging tools across the floor, staring at the stone walls. He said he felt drawn to the space, said there was something underneath worth finding. His voice dulled. His hands trembled when he thought no one was watching. Kathy tried to keep routines going. Breakfast, school, chores, bedtime. But the house interrupted everything. Lights blinked even after bulbs were changed. The family dog refused to enter certain rooms. Doors closed on their own. She often paused mid-step, convinced someone was behind her, only to find nothing there. To the neighbors, the Lutzes looked fine. Groceries were delivered, mail collected, trash taken out. But inside, hours dragged. One evening, the babysitter ended up trapped inside a closet. She pounded the door until it was forced open. She ran from the room without a word, eyes wide, face pale, refusing to ever return. They invited a priest. He stepped inside, said a few words, then left abruptly. He didn't explain much, just that something was wrong. He declined to come back. George dismissed it all as superstition, but Kathy could see how his sleep was thinning, how he barely looked anyone in the eye anymore. Chelsea's drawings darkened. Black smudges, red marks, tall figures, hollow faces. She spoke less, ate less, and began waking in the middle of the night. Her bedroom window, no matter how tight-latched, was often found open in the morning. Once, Kathy found her standing at the glass barefoot, hands flat on the frame, eyes unfocused. Then came the night by the boathouse. George was standing in the rain, soaked through, holding the axe. He didn't answer when Kathy called him. He didn't move. She walked to him slowly, afraid to speak again. When he finally turned, there was no recognition in his face, only silence. Then, without a word, he walked back into the house. Kathy started digging through records at the library, asking quiet questions around town. What she found unsettled her. The property had seen more than one death. It had a long, disturbing past. People who'd gone missing, families who left in a hurry, years of trouble, brushed under layers of fresh paint and new owners. George barely spoke. He walked the halls at night, sometimes stopping outside the children's rooms. At 3:15 every morning, he woke on his own, always at the same time, always staring out a window, always silent. It was as if the house was guiding his steps, and he had stopped trying to resist. On the last night, rain slammed the roof and wind pushed against the windows. Kathy made her decision. She gathered the kids while George stood by the front door with the axe in hand. He stared at them, breathing unevenly. Then his arms dropped, and the axe hit the floor with a hollow sound. He didn't follow as they ran. They left everything: furniture, photographs, toys. The front door stayed open behind them. Kathy didn't speak much after that. George withdrew. The children started to smile again, but only slowly. What had happened in that house had dug its way into their memories and wouldn't leave quietly. The house remains. The lawn is trimmed, the shutters painted, but the windows always seem to look out with too much intent. New families come and go. None stay for long. Whatever waits inside doesn't hurry. It never has.